Welcome back to Rob Does Pokemon, my friends. I hope you are doing well. I am joined by a sensational guest tonight. The internet sensation, the investor bro of the future, Phillips Collectibles. My friend, thank you so much for joining tonight. I am so happy that you're on, man. How are you doing tonight?
No, I appreciate that, Rob. Yeah, good. Very excited to kind of talk a bit about what's going on with Pokemon, talk about a little bit about life updates. But no, really cool to have me on. And like I'm actually love your content as well. So it's pretty cool to, be able to talk and, talk with the chat, see what's going on. So definitely.
Yeah, I'm pumped, man. I really am. It's super cool to have you on. We were just talking a bit in kind of the pre-live about both of us starting our YouTube journeys together, and Philip like absolutely blowing up, and me being like, "Yeah, I wonder if he'll join the channel." And he came on, and that's pretty awesome. So I'm super excited about it, man. So guys, we got a pretty tight agenda here. We're gonna try and keep this around an hour. I think I'm getting better at the flow on these lives, but you guys can let me know. So I'd like to hear from Phil about his story. Talk a little bit about the market right now in general, investing strategy. We'll dive into some singles as well, some singles that are going crazy, and what Phil's thoughts are on those upcoming sets. I do want to talk a bit about kind of mental health stuff as well, and there'll be a bit of Dragon Ball Z too. As always, guys, if you have something funny you want to put up in the comments, please do it. We love to see those comments. We love to read them. We're looking along in the chat as we go. Get involved, hit the like button, and make sure you subscribe to our channel. So, Philip, do you mind just kind of introducing viewers who might not be aware of you or might not know you as well to kind of who you are, what you're about, kind of your story?
For sure. So, if you've never kind of seen my content, my name's Phil. I am kind of got into Pokemon at the age of 4 when my brother he passed me on his old Pokemon Game Boy Color, and it was Pokemon Gold. And I just started playing that, and I got pretty much obsessed from that age. And yeah, that's pretty much my story with how I got into Pokemon. Pokemon, pretty much the video games, and then of course my brother was kind of the driving force to start collecting the cards as well. So I've been around since yeah, really early days, and I've seen the kind of franchise move forward. But also, if you haven't seen my kind of channel, I'm kind of focused on the Pokemon. I try to put a little bit of my marketing spin as well on it. So I know a lot of you, if you do watch my channel, I kind of mention a lot that my career profession is in marketing, and I kind of found that there's actually a cool way to kind of link marketing with a little bit of Pokemon as well. And there's a bit of this kind of crossroad that I feel like a lot of people have kind of enjoyed as well on the channel, that I've been able to kind of make this kind of odd link between how marketing and the purchasing psychology and all that with Pokemon collectibles and what we're going through at the moment. So yeah, that's pretty much how my channel works and my little history with Pokemon.
It's a crazy time in the hobby right now, man. Like I feel like when we started, a year and a bit ago, like things have just gone completely, absolutely bananas. Like it's a crazy time right now. Young T in the comments, Michael's come up already. He's asking if you know, do you know Pokeoz in real life? Do you guys ever hang out? Have you spoken at all? I guess that's the question.
No, I haven't, and I probably should reach out actually, because I'm a very passive YouTube viewer. I don't actually make many comments, but I actually really enjoy Michael's content as well. So I used to watch him as well before I even started my channel. So I actually probably should reach out and have a bit of a chat with him. But no, I don't know him in real life. But of course, I would always be willing to say hi and talk with him. I'm sure he'd be a good guy to have a beer with.
Oh, Michael's fantastic. Yeah, we'll have to see if we can get you guys on the same live. I think that would be
Yeah.
pretty amazing. Really, it would. So, are you? So we got an Australia friendly time slot here, which happens to work for mine. I know you were gracious enough to work your family stuff around this, and I really appreciate it. And you're like, "Hey, didn't we say 10 a.m.?" And I was like, "Oh, whoops." So, yeah, like I really appreciate you making time out of your day with, with your daughter and your wife and all that stuff. So, are you drinking anything tonight, or is it a bit too early for you?
No, we're on, but it's we've got we've got tea today, Rob. So I know I'm disappointing you. I was kind of telling my partner, fiance, because she's watching the live, and I told her before we get on, I'm like, look, I kind of need to get my apple juice sorted before Rob, and she's like, you know what, I'm getting my tea. So just tea for me, but definitely on the future streams, I will be getting my apple juice out.
I love it. I love it. For the guys who watch regularly, we are out of Doocy finally. You guys were on at me about nursing that bottle. We're back on the Henny tonight, guys. We're back on the Hennessy. So, Phil, what do you make of the market right now, my friend? Like, I know there's been a lot of talk about it. Like, from your standpoint, over in Australia, obviously making content for a largely North American audience, what do you make of the market in general?
Yeah, I think the market's going in a position where, and I'm kind of on the page. To me, I feel like the 2020 boom or that vintage boom to me felt a bit more genuine in the terms of how it kind of blew up. I feel like what's happening now, there is a level of it having this kind of hype beast effect, and it has almost this kind of sneaker community street where a lot of people coming in that I don't think have that many connections to Pokemon. And I don't like to kind of speak about like, oh, gatekeeping the hobby or someone that maybe just enjoys Pokemon cards or just enjoys Pokemon a little bit. But I think because of the values of the cards and what's kind of happening, I think there's so many new characters coming in that probably don't reflect a lot of the people who are just genuinely enjoy Pokemon as a TCG, as a franchise, as anime, just even the games. And I think we're in a little bit of an interesting period right now where I think there's going to be maybe two things that happen right now. I think with the market, how it's kind of going at the moment, I think there's a chance that it may not be able to maintain when that hype leaves. I mean, probably a little bit similar to Pokemon Go period. Do you remember that, Rob, in 2016?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Hmm. I'm kind of feeling that we're maybe in a similar with Pokemon TCG Pocket. We're in this crazy aha period, this insane, like, oh, wow, it's just going absolutely wild. So I do think like Rob's role in this community is merging the PokeTuber multiverse. That's a good comment. Yeah. So, no, I do feel that Pokemon TCG Pocket and what's kind of happened has really, really made this kind of influx of people come in. But I do get that flashback to Pokemon Go days where everyone just started playing Pokemon Go. And it's kind of like everyone's now just collecting the TCG, but maybe there is a little bit of a hype kind of bubble that we're in. And that's just my own opinion, just, because I've
Yeah.
been in the franchise for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, it does feel. I can see the similarities for sure. And I mean, we got Quadzilla saying he came straight out of the jungle wrestling alligators. Like, oh my goodness, yeah. But yeah, no, it feels that way for sure. And I think it's even more targeted in terms of the TCG because Pocket is Pokemon cards, right? Whereas Go was like just Pokemon in general. Like it's a game and you go and catch stuff. But TCG is very, very much on the card game and very centric related to what we do. And I would agree with that. And it's tough to say whether people are in it for the right or wrong reasons because Pokemon is something that just it's universal. It unites people. And I mean, chances are if you're into sports cards or you're into Yu-Gi-Oh or you're into Magic the Gathering, you're probably crossed over with Pokemon at some point during your childhood, and maybe you've got some really fond memories that you want to recreate. But yeah, it does feel inorganic to some of the comments there and what you're saying. Very overinflated. And some of these numbers is just, as much as we do Pokemon investing channels, and it's great when stuff goes up, it feels very much like, okay, like, should it really be going up that much? Like,
it's so funny you say that because I've actually been looking at some cards and I've been making videos and I'm looking at, and then sometimes I'll even pause and I'm like, this card that's like climbing up doesn't even like it doesn't have any kind of nostalgia focus on it, or is this Pokemon even popular? It's kind of even confusing me. I'm trying to like make a rationale out of it. Like, why is this card going up?
yeah,
And like literally just drawing at straws. And to me, I'm kind of like pretty much on the field that, hey, yeah, we're just in this kind of hype bubble where a lot of people that pretty much don't know much about the franchise are just buying, cards that don't make much sense. And yeah, it's wild. Yeah, I don't think there's really yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head with that, to be honest, because yeah, it feels like some cards that are rising don't make much sense.
yeah, it's nutty. But I feel like people are just like, hey, this is available. I'm going to go and grab it, and then it kind of gets bit up a bit. So I apologize. I didn't do a proper introduction for you, so I'm really slacking on my host duties. I'm excited about the Henny. So, Philip, you started your YouTube. Correct me if I'm wrong. It would have been January last year. Is that right? Just around that time.
The day after my birthday. Yeah,
which is fantastic. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so wait, are you a Capricorn?
Aquarius.
Aquarius.
Yeah,
okay, that's fine. I was going to say, if
yourself?
you're a Capricorn, we got to get. I'm an Aries. I'm
Aries.
the best
Yeah,
sign.
cool.
I'm the best
Nice.
sign. So there we go.
Fine.
But no, your channel is absolutely blown up, which is, as much as I'm, not a competitor, but someone else in the space, like, oh man, I wish that could happen to me. But like, it's really great to see because when someone's channel blows up, it makes the pie that much bigger for everybody else and just kind of expands the multiverse, for lack of a better word. But what's the secret, man? I got to ask you, like, what's worked for you? What are you finding is really just making you like absolutely skyrocket in terms of views and subscribers?
For sure. I think in terms of the secret of maybe the growth that I've had over the year, I think a lot of it comes down to, I wouldn't know if it's, I think there's probably two areas that I think that have contributed to my channel growing. One would be I focus heavily on, I'm trying to now think of what's made it kind of grow. To be honest, I didn't expect it to grow the way it did as well. I think it's kind of taken me a little bit for surprise, and I'm kind of now it's growing. You know, sometimes it grows. Sometimes I've had days, even one day I grew 800 subscribers in a day.
Yeah, that's
Um,
crazy.
yeah, yeah, and I was just like, wow, it just hits in that algorithm, and it's kind of crazy how it works. But I think if I was kind of thinking about what made it work, I think a lot of is the structuring of my content. I've really focused on not wasting people's time, especially at the start. And I also focus, I think, I do a lot of giveaways on the
Mm,
channel as well. And I don't think giveaways are the answer to grow, because I think, after the giveaway, no one's going to stay. But I think area that's helped me, I think, grow as well is I don't hold a carrot in front of people in terms of a giveaway. And what I mean by that is sometimes I'm not like, I don't know if I'm not talking about any creator or anything in this space, but it's just, I don't say, oh, the giveaway is going to be announced in XXX days or 9. It's just, hey, I'll pin that comment on the emoji, and I usually do it in 3-4 days. And I think that gives people a little bit of a consistent cycle of how it works. And
mhm.
I think that's probably contributed. And I think there's also been a little bit of luck, to be honest, as well, Rob. Just, some videos kind of took off. I did actually have, believe it or not, a YouTube channel before this that failed. And it was me talking about, I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but Feng Shui, which is,
Really?
yeah, interior. So you guys can go try find that. All the videos are still there, but it was Feng Shui and interior design. So I was trying to make content about how to kind of position your room in certain ways for that good, healthy chi energy. To be in a kind of like, I'm very big in Feng Shui and spirituality, and that's kind of how I position my room. And a lot of people like how all this, and this is kind of built with Feng Shui, which I had a
Mm.
channel beforehand, but I didn't have much luck with that channel as well. So, and yeah, I think my editing as well. Yeah,
I
yeah.
think the editing is top notch. I really do, and I was ready to talk about that. But then you mentioned the spirituality, and I'm like, okay, so like I've been going through some let's say some stuff behind the scenes, which I'll talk about in a future video. But I got my selenite stone here, dude. I got my stuff. I'm ready. I'm really just like enjoying myself and trying to like treat each moment as it comes. And yeah, it's kind of funny you say that. So yeah, I'm probably not as deep into it as you are because I'm just getting started. But yeah, my daughter. So I have two kids. I have a 5-year-old who's going to be 6 soon, and basically a 3-year-old. And the 3-year-old has started seeing spirits and things right in her room. So she'll be like, "Oh, the people are here. I tell the people to go away." And so I've been kind of learning more about it and how to kind of be a good dad to her and support her through what she's going through. Because whether they're there or not, I don't know. But like she's having it happen. So anyway, the side note, I'm very much into that as well. So I think that's
No,
pretty cool,
that's
man.
cool.
So
Yeah, yeah.
I like
No,
it.
a lot of my focus is just in just the visualization, and especially with Feng Shui. But you guys can, like, I'm sure people can check it out. If I'm happy to link you the channel later. You can suss it out. I don't post on it anymore. So yeah.
Yeah, send us a link, man. I think people will want to see that. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
pretty
yeah,
cool.
yeah. Maybe I'll make it back. Yeah, maybe I'll turn it back. Yeah.
That's cool. And I mean, you've learned from the failures, and you've built a better channel, which is I think pretty awesome.
Hmm.
And
Yeah, yeah.
that's really cool. Someone's saying lucky rabbit's foot in here, monkeys up in this. But so yeah, so first and foremost, you're a collectibles. You talk a lot about investing in the market. Can you describe your approach to collectibles investing as a whole? Because you're not just Pokemon, but like Pokemon's kind of the big thing. But what's your
Mm.
approach?
So my big thing is collecting what you love. Now, I do say that a lot, that I like to collect what I love, but I also collect some TCGs that have no growth. But I tell my fiance, who I know she's watching right now, but I always tell her, hey, I'm just buying this Dragon Ball card because it's an investment. But
Yeah.
she knows that that's going nowhere. Pokemon has this really cool thing where you can actually buy things that you love. And you can tailor it in a way that it grows in value. In some other TCGs, you don't get that kind of that blessing as well, if you know what I mean.
Mm,
You're not going to be that lucky. So with Pokemon, how I like to kind of position firstly, if I'm going to buy a card, there's two ways. There's singles. If we talk about sealed investing, I think sealed investing is the way that it's kind of been proven that it just grows. But I think a lot of people, and probably the chat would agree, is sealed investing is, to me, it's just so boring because you don't get that connection with the card. You don't kind of get that, vibe with anything that you're buying. I really prefer buying singles as well and kind of tailoring them to investing as well.
It's an interesting take, yeah. No, and I can really see where you're coming from. I mean, I I have a lot. Like I have a lot of singles. I got stuff on the table here, right? But I don't know, man. There's just something really sexy for me about a brown box. I don't know what it is. Like
The
it's just
case.
kind of weird. But I hear where you're coming from. The actual the cards as they're intended to be, like opening them up, discovering the chaser, discovering the artworks for sure. I think it's kind of strange these days because it's all just so available. I think back to when I was a kid and the internet was in its infancy, right? You had to wait 6 minutes for a picture to load, right? I remember, you remember that, like clicking through it, the dial-up internet's going in the background.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like who's
Back
running
then,
the
yeah, it
washing
was horrible.
machine?
Yeah.
The internet's not working. But yeah, now you can see the artworks, right? You can't get the full experience of the card, but it's very different for sure. But I completely agree with you, and I like the approach that you're taking of the cards are the intrinsic motivators to open everything and get going. I mean, you're more on the single side than the sealed, right? That's more your
Yeah,
play.
the way I invest in collectibles is probably a little bit, and this is just my own way I like doing it. I like buying one big item, but not too big in terms of like, if I'm talking about crazy big item, would be like the Mario crossover Pikachu PSA
Yeah,
10.
yeah,
That would be something that's like crazy big. But if I'm talking about something that's probably I don't want to use the word achievable because everyone's kind of position's different, but let's say a Greninja. I
yep,
think if you set a goal, over whatever a few months, maybe some people, but like the Greninja SIR PSA 10, that would be something I would love to buy
yep.
because it kind of ticks that. I love Greninja as a Pokemon. I use it in Smash Bros. I love owning it, but also then it ticks that box of, hey, it's pretty likely that this Greninja, if Twilight Masquerade doesn't go around, it's going to grow in value. So I think that's my position. I love buying, cards that Pokemon that I love. So, my favorite Pokemon's Milotic. The Milotic SIR, I actually haven't bought it yet, but that's like that would be a perfect card that I would buy in a PSA 10, which is I think 600 US. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think 400 or 500 USD at the moment.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, so that would be probably a card that I would buy. I love it in my collection, and then if it never appreciated it, or if it never went up in value, I wouldn't really care too much because it hasn't grown. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
because I actually love the card, but the problem is when you're buying these singles and all this stuff that you don't love, you might get a little bit burnt because you're buying cards and all this, which is happening right now, Rob.
Yeah.
And that is actually what's going on. Is all these guys are just buying all these little cards, but what's going to happen when this kind of momentum swing and, kind of fades out? We're going to see some of these cards that are just growing ridiculously in value because they don't have that genuine audience demand or people that genuinely have the connections with those Pokemon kind of fizzle out. So I think, yeah, like even Milotic, I love Milotic as a Pokemon, right? But how many other people is Milotic their favorite Pokemon? Whereas I know Charizard would be a huge favorite for so many people. So I'm competing. If Charizard was my favorite Pokemon, I'd be competing with a pretty tough crowd. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. And Milotic has. I always want to say Milotich because I always watch. I've said this on previous streams about a lot of Premier League soccer and European soccer and the Croatian players with the titch. But there's I can't remember exactly how you get. You have to get a special fishing rod or something, don't you? And then get the Feebas, and then you got to do some kind of ritual to get it to evolve into a Milotic. But I think I remember that right.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Yeah.
With the chat. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it's a cool Pokemon. But I see what you mean, and for me, that I got that feeling around illustration rares. I think a lot of illustration rares right now have gorgeous artworks. They're not those like S tier, A tier, even B tier Pokemon, and I think there's a lot of them being bought out right now, and they're very difficult to grade. It just seems like a recipe for disaster on some of these values. It really does. So, yeah, it's
100%.
kind
Like
of crazy.
Magikarp makes a lot of sense. So I don't think Magikarp we're going to see too much if it did dip a little bit because Magikarp, I put Magikarp growing so much in value. Firstly, the artwork is just it's pretty. I'd probably say it's a 10 out of 10 artwork in my opinion. The Magikarp illustration, right?
Oh, it's gorgeous. Yeah,
it's just like it's literally you could hang that up as an art piece in your home, and you'd be like it's stunning. But I think Magikarp, and I know this is a little bit of a thing. I think it's almost like a meme coin because we all had Magikarp as
Yep.
kids, like it was always that, but it's almost
Yeah.
like a meme card that almost is probably one of the best artworks of the whole Scarlet and Violet era, and it's a Magikarp.
Yeah.
And I think that is so important because I don't see a Magikarp kind of losing its position in the market. But we saw Iron Crown, right? Iron Crown, when everyone just jumped on the hype bubble, the SIR, back when Temporal Forces released, that dropped really quickly down in value because, there isn't that kind of fan, connection with Iron Crown. It was just a hype bubble.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, like 100%. Those Paradox Pokemon definitely have that feeling. And Magikarp's a great example of a card that just takes you back on multiple levels to your childhood. Like, so I bought Madeline, my oldest daughter, a scratch art unicorn book the other day. It's like the only thing she wants to do is this freaking, she loves it. She's like just transfixed by it. And I remember having that feeling as well with the scratch art book or with those pictures you used to get back in the day. And it just works on so many different levels, which I think is an amazing artwork. And so Matt actually has brought up a good point here. This is a good kind of counter to what we're saying. He says, I don't get why you would buy a card you love in a PSA 10 with the intention to sell it. If you love the card, surely you would keep it. So what are your thoughts on that comment?
100%. I think so if I buy a PSA 10 card that I genuinely love, I actually haven't, I think I've sold very few of my PSA 10 cards. But the reason why I've sold them is pretty much because of a position where I needed the income. And I think that's where we also have to be a little bit like, yes, we love these cards, but if we kind of need that money at that time, or if something's going on, that's probably I think breaking your collection to sell it, if you love what you're buying, it's rough, man. Like I've had to do that, I've got to sell this because I need to make some expenses. And that's actually a painful thing. Like, like sometimes people won't understand it if they're not involved, but because collectibles mean so much to a lot of us, when you kind of like break break it and sell it off, it can hurt. But usually I don't like to, some of my cards I don't have an intention of selling, but life can go in any way, we can't really predict that.
100% can, yeah. And I mean, I can see that argument too. If someone's saying, look, if you really love something, why would you sell it? I mean, sometimes when you really love things, you let them go. And I mean, there's to have the cliche in there, but also there's this fascination. And one of the reasons I'm so fascinated by the market is these things that were essentially worthless when we were kids, or that we were told were worthless, but they had no intrinsic monetary value, really. But they meant everything to us as suddenly very, very valuable. And hey, if down the road there's something that comes up and you want to sell them on and do something that way and make some profits, I mean, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. And then someone else can love that card if you've had that chance to do it. So, I mean, you can romanticize it, or you can just say like, hey, like it's just money, whatever. So it really depends on how you feel about buying and selling Pokemon cards. And some people are into it and some people aren't, which is okay by me. So I wanted to do a little let's look at the numbers with you. I wanted to look at some singles because you're the singles master. I wanted to get your feeling and your read on some of these cards.
I'm down for this. I'm down for this.
I'm pretty excited about this. So let's get a deck back up here. So would you mind setting us off with a little let's look at the numbers? Would that be too much?
No, all right. Let me see. I don't have my apple juice on though, so it might be cringe, but let's look at the numbers.
Oh, I love it. I love
it. I don't know. I was getting it ready, Rob. I was getting pretty excited for it because you've got that. Every time it goes on, it actually kills me. So yeah.
I love it, man. I love it. All right, so guys, let's do it. Felt Hat Pikachu. Let's talk about this card because this is one I think in one of your earlier videos. I think maybe one of the first ones that really blew up. I think I remember you talking about this Felt Hat Pikachu, and I got this one completely wrong. Like I was like, I don't know about this one. Like it's not gonna go crazy.
I actually did too. This one took me for surprise. Yeah, and in hindsight, I probably should have known better because if we look at like all the other promos that had this kind of art, the art style promo crossovers, they've done so well. So I'm not sure why I wasn't too. I actually got this one totally wrong. Yeah.
It's nutty, man. Like I think at this point I was still very much like, man, these populations are huge. There's so many of these out there. Like they just keep going. Like, and I know what the pop is at right now. If it's above 20,000, I wouldn't be surprised if it is. But to just see like the trajectory that this card has been on for the last like 3 or 4 months, like it's just absolutely crazy. Let us know in the chat, guys, if you have this card, if you sold it, if you're surprised at what's going on. But Felt Hat Pika, it really, at first I was like, yeah, this Monk Scream vibe. People think it's going to be the next Monk Scream or these Japanese exclusives, and it has. Like it's turning out like it might actually be one of those things.
No, I think it is, and I might actually, and it's so funny because I've actually changed my tune on it. Do you know what it was with me? It was more the the fighting over it. I don't know. You probably remember when it came out,
Yeah,
and
with the
everyone was
museum.
like,
Yeah,
there's those videos of people trawling over each other and all that.
yeah,
That to me was the main reason why I kind of had this. Every time I see it, it actually still annoys me. If I see this card, it reminds me of those videos. And I think that's why I kind of got this like kind of disdain of it. But now that it's kind of grown, I can actually see that it will become. I do think that Felt Hat Pika will get pretty strong. I've got a feeling just because if we look at like the crossover, it's kind of getting, you can't really obtain it anymore. I think there's a chance that this one definitely can rise, but I think, yeah, my kind of reason why I didn't like it was just personal, but I probably should have kind of, yeah, taken my own opinions out of it because, yeah, if we look at any of the previous sets or any of the previous art crossovers, they do so well.
yeah. They really do. Yeah, it's like most iconic Pokemon with one of the most iconic artists of all time. Like, yeah, I have one in the pack still, and I got a PSA 8 back, so mine graded an 8.
Oh, did you get 8? Oh, yeah, yeah.
I
There's
was like,
something about
really?
getting 8 that just 8 and 9. Like
Yeah.
yeah, it always hurts.
I think they're like, yeah, we could give you a 9, but we're going to give you an 8 just to make you feel extra bad. So the card looks good. Anyway, whatever. I'm gonna take that to another side. So Jason Page's Sumbreon, like this has been friggin' nuts. Like, is this just the scarcity of the product? Like, what is your take on this one?
Yeah, I think this one's going to be a hard one to come down too much, to be honest, unless there's a reprint that's just galactic in size, which can happen, right? I mean, Japanese
Yeah.
151 reprint that we all saw what happened in 2024, mid 2024, what happened
Mm-hmm.
with that. I think this one could definitely go, but you know what the problem is as well? So this is kind of my thing, right? Moonbryon took, I think most people watching this would know what Moonbryon is, but sometimes I have to
Yeah.
be, a lot of new people would be coming in. Moonbryon was the chase card before this card that people have called Sumbreon came in, which was also another gorgeous artwork. The Moonbryon took, what was it, nearly 4 years to get to the price point of this card.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
had such a long time to get there. It had such a long time to bake in the market. It had such a long time for people to research the sets and get interested in it. This one kind of feels very too quick, too soon. But at the same time, I feel like it's going to be hard for it to really go down too much in value because people are kind of just like putting it on that same level as Moonbryon as well. It just depends on how big the reprint is. But this one, yeah, and it's 100% Brandon. It's so hard to pull as well. So I think that comes into it. I think this one might be one of the ones that maybe hold even if there is a dip. I still think it will come down a little bit if everything goes down together, but it won't be
Mhm.
as significant as some of the other cards.
Yeah, it's. I think you hit the nail on the head there for sure. Like, I remember when Evo Skies came out, the chase card was Rayquaza or Rayquaza, whatever you guys want to say
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah, 100%.
Everyone was talking about that. Like, Umbreon was an afterthought, man. It was whatever $100 card, whatever it started at, and like slowly, like it's kind of risen and risen and risen. Everybody keeps saying, oh, I can't go any higher. Like, this is junk wax. Like, and it just keeps going, and it has its kind of dips in it, but it's come up a lot. And I look at this card, and that all of that is priced into this card already. I feel like that whole story, the growth of the Umbreon VMAX from Evolving Skies is just priced in. And I don't know, I'm looking at it thinking, fuck, man, like, do I really want to spend that much money on that card? I mean, it's a gorgeous card, but for especially
Yeah,
from
I
an
think
investment
it's a
standpoint.
very hard buy at the moment. I
Yeah.
think like if you didn't buy Moonbryon now, it's super hard to kind of fork out the money for a Moonbryon like now because it's just, and it's same with this one. So yeah, I'm kind of like taking it easy with this card at the moment. I haven't even looked at bothering with it,
Yeah.
and I probably wouldn't unless it kind of went, maybe to 700 or 800, which is very, very unlikely. And that's the problem. I like, though, here's the thing as well. Who's it going to be held by? It's just going to be held by a lot of people that's kind of sometimes what I think as well. If only people buy it at 1.5K, whatever it is right now, it looks like it's 1.5. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's going to be just holding them together? Yeah. It's an interesting thing to.
Yeah, I agree. I saw a thread on X just while I was using the washroom before this. I was doing a poo, and I was like, okay, I'm a little flick through as you do, and so it's gone from like 5,500 PSA 10, this one eBay bid, this guy had highlighted, to now I think it's 3,500. So I'm like, man, just yeah, you got to feel a little bit silly if you're buying at that kind of level. And crypto brings up a good point here, just by the Japanese.
Have you noticed that, Rob, that the Pokemon market moves kind of with the crypto market?
Yeah, I certainly have. Yeah, I mean, do you dabble in the crypto yourself?
Very, very minimally. So I wouldn't like not enough to be confident. Like I kind of enjoy like pretty much only the main ones. But I've noticed that every time Bitcoin goes up, the Pokemon market almost follows. I like. Are you a bit of a? Are you heavy in crypto or?
Yeah, I like my cryptos. I do have a good chunk of my net worth in some cryptocurrencies. Yes, for better and for worse. But yeah, I noticed that. I really do. Like, I mean, it was a perfect. I think you've talked about this market in some of your videos too. I think it really was a perfect storm. Like, there were a few things that happened with the administration changing in the U.S. Whatever your feelings on that are, very clear there was an economic impact of that was positive. Bitcoin going crazy, like, interest rates dropping at that time. Like, there's been a lot of stuff that's happened. And I mean, it's cheaper to borrow money now than it has been over the last couple of years.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, crypto 100. When you see meme, I mean, the meme coin stuff is crazy, man. You open, I don't know if you open a Phantom wallet or whatever you're doing, you see like things that are going up, 10,000% like every day. Like, people are making absurd amounts of money on these shit coins. And then altcoin season's coming. Yeah. To answer your question, yes, I do. I do think the markets are tied together pretty heavily. Not
Why do you think
exclusively,
that
but
is though? Because I'm not that in like my crypto knowledge is pretty weak, to be honest. But why do you think there is that correlation? Like that's pretty.
yeah, my honest take on it is I think a lot of the guys that are into crypto, especially the altcoins and the shit coins, are guys that are kind of younger than us, or like saying, I mean, how old are you? You're early 30s?
30, yeah, just turned
Yeah,
30.
30.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I'm 37, but guy, like, and I think between that kind of 18 to our age, there's like a golden window of guys that like want to recreate their childhoods or potentially are still in it. Um, and what shiny thing do you want to go and buy? You get your cars or whatever, you strike it rich. You want to buy Pokemon cards. That's one of the things you want to get, especially with the glorification of YouTube and content creation. It's like, I want to have that thing. Damn, I got like $1 million in my account from this
yeah.
this Freedom Financial meme coin I just bumped. Yeah, let's do it. I definitely think there's that. Like, what do you got? What they don't know what to spend their money on. The problem with money, Philip, is that money doesn't come with instructions. So some people just buy the most worst crap they can. Like some, it's like,
No, 100%. That's so true. Yeah, because I'm kind of like making. I was thinking, what is the link between these two, and that actually makes sense. I think it's just that kind of exactly what you said. The money doesn't come with instructions, so it's kind of like, oh, if my wallet's going up, I've got the confidence to also buy now Pokemon cards like
yeah.
mad. So I don't know.
And
Yeah,
Quad's in the chat too. So Tim's he's mentioning this generation is much larger into alternative investments. That they really are. Like,
Mm,
in your
for sure.
parents' day, where were you told to put your money? I mean, a lot of people kept it under the mattress, like, oh, buy a GIC or a bond and keep it. Very happy if you make 2%. But people are looking with inflation going crazy for a lot of it's get rich quick scheme too. People think it's the secret to getting rich.
100%. That's definitely. And hey, Mimikyu Brew, appreciate that, bro. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Mimic loves you. Dan's awesome. We have to see if we can get Dan. Talks a lot in streams, but Dan's awesome. So we try and have him in every now and
Yeah,
again.
Dan, believe it or not, he actually won a giveaway. I think he just
Did he
came in.
actually?
Yeah, he won one of the because he's been following. I think Dan, you've been on like following me since I swear under 1,000 subscribers, and I was
Dan
like,
knows
you know
everyone.
what? I saw his
Yeah,
name pop up. I'm like, that
yeah,
deserves the emoji.
yeah.
So yeah, I think it just came in cool, which is cool as well.
Yeah, Dan's amazing. There's so many amazing people in the chat too, guys. If you're liking the stream, please be sure to hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to both of our channels as well. So I got to do a little plug here as well for Misprint as well. One second, let me add this to the stage. So you guys know we had Ava's Binder on. She's amazing. She's working on a startup called Misprint. I am affiliated with those guys. So if you want to go there, you get $5 off your first order with the code RBurns, But this one here, so the Charizard from 151, we got a PSA pop of over 26,000 on this. It's going for $1,000 basically in a PSA 10, and it keeps going up. So 151 craziness. What's your take on this card?
On the Charizard?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just drinking my tea,
That's
so
good. No
I
worries.
kind of. Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool, man. Yeah, I think it's a great artwork. It is a bit chubby, but I kind of at least prefer that we got like a bit of more of a
Yeah.
unique Charizard artwork rather than kind of the standard Charizard standing in a scary position. I kind of like it. It's in its environment as well, which I think is cool. So on the art level, I really like it. In terms of the value as well, just finding it hard to see that. Oh, that's the
Oh, sorry.
PSA
Yeah.
10. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
now what?
PSA10. Raw, I think
Oh,
it's somewhere around 250 raw. If someone can let me know in the chat, I did look it up, but I can't remember. I think it's somewhere around 220, 250 in a raw near mint.
Yeah, no, I think I think Charizard is always going to have that. If Charizard gets released as an SIR, alt art, whatever, it's always going to have a buyer market.
Yeah.
You can't really ever run away from that. But I do like it. I think this artwork's cool, to be honest. I think it's, especially with that illustration rare kind of storyline, how it's got the Charmander, Charmeleon. In terms of how I think this card's going to go, I don't actually have too much of a thought process on it. I think with 151 coming out it's so hard to get Blooming Waters, maybe we will see some of the singles tank, what happened with Sea and Sky. But the problem is as well, you can't really get Blooming Waters. So I don't know. It's and that's the thing. I feel like what's happening with the market as well now, Rob, is like a lot of us are losing our confidence with how good we think we can predict the market because it's so like it's anyone's guess. It just, you don't know who's in, you don't know who's buying what, you don't know. It's just very, very hard. But I think it is a cool card, and I think there is definitely going to be a future for it.
Yeah, I like this card. I mean, it just because it's Charizard. I mean, the way that it ties in with the other, the Charmander and the Charmeleon, I think is pretty cool. But yeah, I like I've said this many times before. I really like the full art Charizard from this set. I like it better. It's just like more badass Charizard. I don't know the pose, but objectively it is a cool
yeah, it's very reminiscent of Generation One. That
it is.
yeah,
Yeah, that's it. I was like, yeah, they know
yeah,
exactly what they're doing on that one. So another one here, the last one we'll show on Misprint. So Mew, the old bubble Mew, and you've done a fire video on this one, but this looks like it might end up being like the most, or it's like up there already, but one of the most expensive of Scarlet and Violet era. Like PSA 10s are around $1,000. I think raw it's going somewhere around $400. I think.
Yeah, this is looking like one of the all-time greats of Scarlet and Violet already. Super, super cool to see it going like this. And I think it also shows that, because when it kind of came out, this was selling for like 75 USD raw. Last time I checked, I think I checked just recently, it was 404. Huge growth, but I mean, come on, this is an example of why we love collecting Pokemon cards, right? I mean, such a cool artwork, so unique. I'm a real big fan of Bubble Mew. So yeah, even though it is, you know what the problem is as well? I feel like sometimes the popular cards like Bubble Mew, like you can't really have a hot take because it's like, oh, everyone the reason why they get valuable is because everyone loves the artwork. Yeah, so it's like, it's very hard to be like, oh, one card's growing in value and not many people like it because most people, the reason why it's growing in value is because it's so unique and cool. So no, I would really rate this one.
Yeah, 100% as well. I'm just going in the chat a little bit. So Gerdit's saying a huge fan of you, Phil. You helped him through a difficult time. What do you think of the Galarian Moltres promo?
The Crown Zenith one?
I believe that's the one he's at. That's
yeah,
a Kanda
yeah,
one, right?
Yeah, that's a good artwork. I think it's a little bit, even though it is Shinji Kanda, that one, I think it's probably it's the least Shinji Kanda artwork out of all of his artworks, if that makes sense. It's just got the blue background. I kind of feel like, yeah, because it was a promo, maybe he didn't go as hard. I don't know, but it's probably even though I still like the artwork, it's probably the weakest of Shinji Kanda's, in terms of his full art library.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. Monkey says, I remember a possum saying that Mew was too cheap. Yeah, you know what? Nick has some really good takes. I think Nick actually probably has some of the best investor takes. It's a shame he doesn't do an investor channel because I think he actually knows what's going on. So I think Nick's
100%. It's funny because when I made my channel, I think it was my third video in, Nick actually made a video about it. I was like, wow, okay, this is like a baptism by fire. But what's interesting, as time's gone on, I've had this kind of really, really great appreciation for his content because he's incredibly necessary with what's happening right now. Because if people aren't calling out some of the crazy things, we're kind of leaving, like, you kind of need, characters like that kind of can do it and, articulate that in a way. I wouldn't be able to do that well, but he's pretty much built for it. So that was actually a pretty interesting thing of me starting my channel. I remember getting the baptism by fire. I told my partner, I was like, this is going to be hard, Nelia. I go, Chanel, I don't know if I'm built for this Pokemon content thing.
No, it was great. And I actually remember I think he called Michael a Giga Chad. Yeah. And like a hombre Giga Chad. And I had no idea what that was. And I was like, what is this? But yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I think Nick's content is very necessary and very enjoyable. And like I challenge anybody. I don't think I've met anybody that knows more. Maybe J-Love's got knowledge on the same kind of level as him, and Professor Metri and some couple of guys like that. But yeah, he's just freaking incredible. And to your point, like I think him, Rock Sandy, Dan, like Mimic Brew in the chat, like, Gonzo, it's great to have people like that in the community that are doing that and making some really fire content at the same time. So completely agree. Yeah, I remember that video though.
I was like, I remember because I showed my partner and I was watching it with her and I was like, I cannot believe. I was like, Feng Shui, when I had my Feng Shui channel, we didn't have that, Rob. So, but in terms of that, I actually, it is interesting. I saw one of the persons say it grows on you. And I think that's I think when you first watch one of his videos, you're like, wait, what? And then as you go on, you just become like, nah, I kind of get it. And then eventually you're just like, probably should comment a bit more on creators that I watch. Mm-hmm. But definitely.
I'm trying to do that more too. Show some support and kind of help them out in whatever way I can. And we've talked about Magikarp already, but the thing I wanted to ask you here was, I put these two up on the screen here in case you guys can't see or you're driving when you're watching this after the fact or whatever. Magikarp from Paldea Evolved versus a Gold Star Mew. So a PSA 10 Magikarp right now from Paldea Evolved is somewhere around $1,400. Like that's the median. You get a Gold Star Mew for somewhere around that in a PSA 8. On a good day, you might even be able to get a PSA 9 for similar pricing. So, I want to ask you a little bit about this and the vintage versus modern. Like, what would you say is the better play right now for people to go for?
Yeah, I think this is where we're going to find interesting things, and I think it's very season based. And vintage right now is out of season, and it's kind of like wearing skinny jeans at the moment, right? It's baggy jeans. Yep. If you like your fashion. Remember, if everyone remembers, skinny jeans were once popular, and then baggy jeans. Now it's all baggy jeans, and then one day, that's going to change. And I think right now vintage is a little bit out of season, but I think that will definitely change because vintage cards just have such low pop reports. And some of the cards right now, it doesn't make sense. When we're looking at that Magikarp, right? Yeah. I don't know the pop report off the top of my head, but I can guarantee you that the PSA 8 of that Mew Gold Star would not touch the PSA in terms of the amounts. I don't know. If someone maybe does that or checks PSA from the chat, it's pretty crazy to see. Yeah. If they have PSA. But I do think that vintage right now is a little bit out of season, but I do think that will definitely change. And when it does, we might see also modern get a little bit less interest. But yeah, please ask Philip why Australia is. Oh, sorry, I just read a comment.
Oh, sorry, what was it? Damn, I was trying to find a comment there. Please ask Philip why Australia is the scalper capital of the world. Is this a thing?
I'm not too. We are going through right now. I'm not sure if you know, Rob. There's a lot of break-ins happening at the moment. Really? Yeah, in TCG stores in Australia at the moment. No, it's a fair point. In terms of the scalper, so my experience with Australia and buying product has actually been pretty cool. So when we went to buy Prismatic Evolutions, everyone lined up, and everyone was actually calling out like if someone was scalping or not buying more than they could, even though there was no limit. And it was actually a really, really chill kind of vibe. That was my experience with it. But definitely, I think the problem is when there's money involved as well, people go a little bit, I don't know. I think it's just to do with the fact that, you can buy a box and you can sell it for triple the price or whatever it is. Prismatic Evolutions. I know if you buy a box for retail, it's 79 Australian, you can easily sell that off market in the blink of an eye for 180 Australian, right? So I think that's there's issue. And don't forget, Australia has much less product than US. We get far less. So I think, and the thing with the Australian market as well is we always have to pay much more bigger premium on PSA cards as well, because we also have to, it's all priced in. So a Moonbron's much more expensive in Australia than it is overseas.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, always, because it's always priced in, because Yeah. So our PSA cards are definitely like top chase cards are always a little bit more expensive.
Do you guys have a Pokemon Center yet? I remember.
Yeah, we do,
Yeah.
but it is yeah, I think someone said something about how useless it was, and it made me laugh so much. I forgot. It's really it's it's no good. You just have to, yeah, you're paying crazy amounts of money for it. Um, and shipping's like 35 USD or something,
Oh,
or
geez.
30, maybe no, sorry, 35 AUD, so about 25 USD. That's for ETBs and stuff. Look, I'm grateful that we have it though, because at least we can get Pokemon Center products when they come.
Yeah.
I did get a Surging Sparks Pokemon Center ETB from Australia,
Nice. Nice.
but
That's
I
awesome.
think it needs a little bit of work, to be honest.
Yeah, hopefully a bit of a work in progress. But I remember there was a time when I think it was Michael talking about this like years ago. Like he just has so much Fusion Strike. Like he was like, yeah, there's a ton of Fusion Strike over here, and I was like, oh, good for you.
Yeah, no, we got Astro Radiance at the moment. I probably should buy some of that actually. I
Yeah,
saw that.
invest
Yeah,
now,
we've
guys.
got a bit of Astro Radiance.
What do we got? I got the big question here that everyone wants to know. Is everything about to crash? What's your crystal ball on this one here?
I think honestly, I think we're definitely going to see, especially when the US summer, Europe summer kind of comes around. I don't want to use the word crash because it's so like sensational, but I do definitely think a pullback will happen, because I'm looking at some cards, and I was speaking about it just before, but some cards I can't make any sense why they're rising, and that is for me, like usually, like I always said before, Magikarp makes sense, or even if Mesprit makes a bit of sense. It's Generation 4, Legendary, has a bit of kind of, a lot of people who are Generation 4 would probably be coming into adult money. But some of the cards that are rising so wildly in value don't make any sense. And when that happens, I think we can see a pretty big pullback. And those cards right now that are, not interesting at all, that are rising, they're going to be the first on the chopping block. So I definitely think that we will see definitely a market correction. Though in terms of when that happens, I don't know, because it's also a little bit on how much more product Pokemon can kind of put into the world,
Mm-hmm.
because we do have, the I know it's not called Glory of Team Rocket for the English set that's coming out. I haven't done my video on it yet.
I think it's called Destin Rivals is what it's called.
Yeah, that's right. It is. Yeah, no, Destin Rivals. And I think that's going to kind of like, yeah, pretty much, it depends on how that goes. The 30th anniversary is coming up, but it just depends on if this momentum can hold, because I don't think the amount of people that are in the hobby right now are, and I don't like I was kind of mentioning, it's not that genuine fans, but there's that part of me that feels like they're in because of the trend. Once the trend kind of moves on, I don't know. I don't know if they're going to be here,
Mm.
for that. It's kind of like, I don't know. Did you play Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, Rob?
I didn't play that, no. But
So when
tell
that
me.
came out, that was like everyone was back on Dragon Ball, but it lasted only a very small amount of time, because once the hype period kind of
Yeah.
faded, it couldn't maintain it. And I kind of feel that might be a little bit similar.
Yeah, I think for sure you're going to see people who maybe aren't in the hobby for the quote unquote right reasons. Probably pop out. And someone made a comment about us both making investor content that contradicts each other. Make hay when the sun's shining, guys. Like, and the title of this, the thumbnail here was when you see invest now on a thumbnail with me, and it usually is a joke. So you guys know. Peaceful's in here though. Peaceful's asking which cards don't make sense. So you mentioned that a few minutes ago.
Yeah, I got it now. I actually edited the video. I'm trying to think of which ones that aren't making sense. Honestly, off the top of my head, I've probably, you got me on the spot now. I can't pretty much think. I think it's some of the illustration rares. There's a lot of illustration rares that have been climbing a little bit in value that are confusing me. I'll have to pretty much go over some graphs. And I know I was because I always go through the graphs when I was making the content, but I don't actually have one on the top of my head. But there is a few that have climbed quite heavily in value. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. I mean, a lot of the base Scarlet and Violet cards are just the illustration rares are going crazy from Scarlet and Violet base set, which for me is a bit of a red flag. So upcoming sets, let's talk a bit about upcoming sets, because there's some absolute fire coming. So Heatwave Arena's been announced. We got Ho-Oh and Ethan on the front here, some kind of battle partner style trainer cards. Like, what are your thoughts on this? Like, are you pumped about this? Are you kind of, hey, I might skip over this one? Like, what are your thoughts?
No, I'm pretty pumped. I think Ho, we haven't had any kind of representation in the TCG for Burning Shadows.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, yeah, nothing. Yeah,
How
we had
long has it been? So I think this is going to be pretty cool. I can't wait to see kind of how amazing like that artwork's going to be. Can it compete with Lugia? I'm pretty pumped for it, to be honest. I think I've got a bit of an appreciation for these kind of sets pretty much. So I'm pretty excited to see how it goes.
Yeah, me too. Me too. 100%. Like I'm a huge Ho-Oh fan, and justice for Ho-Oh, guys. Team Rocket too. We got some Team Rocket. This is not the official pack art. This is a mock up, but so Team Rocket is in
You
English.
did a
Going to
good
be
job on
tested
that,
in
by the
rivals.
way.
What's that? Sorry.
I said that you did a good job on the mock-up.
Yeah, thanks. No, so actually I used this one in a different video like a few months back, and then a really good Photoshop one came out that someone did that looked like it was actually a real pack, which is pretty cool. And I just put the Clayburst logo on the front, but thank you. That means a lot.
It looks awesome. Yeah.
They look pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, in Japanese, it's going to be Rocket. In English, it's going to be Destined Rivals, Heatwave and Rocket together, end of May. Are you? I mean, there's people feeling disappointed, I think, or being very vocal about being disappointed. It's not Team Rocket in English, but it is in Japanese. I mean, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's a really interesting. Maybe because they merged them together, they probably couldn't mark it as a special like Team Rocket set. Maybe if it was a specialty set, we would have had that kind of fortune of having like a Pokemon 151. I kind of like that it doesn't have the rocket in the name. I'm very actually grateful for that. Yeah,
Like
the reason for that is I think it will help calm the demand down a little bit. Yeah, so in terms of not much, but I think like if it was a Team Rocket and they full branded it as that, I think then we're like, oh, it's kind of like imagine if they released Pokemon 151 right now, which they have with Blooming Waters. But I'm saying if it actually came out during this period, no one could get it. What's actually weird as well, when I think of 151, how lucky were we that we could just get that in store? That was,
oh man,
I had no trouble getting 151 at all. I'm not sure for you, but that was so easy for me to get.
No, I went into my local card store. Like I was able to buy an open display case, booster bundles, and they had way more. I didn't clean them out. I had such a blast ripping that set, man. Like it was so much fun. Like it was everywhere. Like GameStop, Costco, like not Costco at the time, but yeah, there was I remember actually the Zapdos Alakazam boxes sitting around in Costco for months, and me being like, I don't really want to get one of those. Like it was because I had enough.
Just so that was actually my complete reaction with it. I was like, I've opened it so much that I got like a little bit sick of it, and now it's like 151 is just going,
Yep.
Out of
I
the world.
remember one of my first videos was like I did the waste of money on the thumbnail, and I'm like, I can look so stupid now. So I was like, they're gonna print it into the ground, and they are printing a lot of it, but people they're gobbling the supply up. So definitely, no, I'm pumped for Rocket too. I really am. So wanted to ask you a little bit about some rapid fire sets here. I'm going to ask you some questions on the spot. So tell me what you think.
Mad at this, Rob. I'm not the best at the rapid fire. Hey, let's give it a go. I got to. Good. It's good. It gets me out of my comfort zone.
By the way, guys, if you're enjoying the stream, please hit the like button, guys. It helps us reach more people. Okay, so best investments. We're going to be doing sealed or just sets overall. So you can take a singles approach, whatever you want in your logic to answer. Okay, we'll do rapid fire. So Brilliant Stars or Silver Tempest?
Brilliant Stars. Silver Tempest is a one-horse race. But
there we go. Brilliant Stars. I love Brilliant Stars. All right, Fusion Strike, Chilling Reign.
Chilling Reign.
Oh, interesting. Give me an explanation here.
Yeah, I feel, and this is more from the art style, and I feel the Chilling Reign's art style has a more cohesive kind of approach with the kind of DLC from Crown Tundra, ice kind of theme. I kind of feel like they captured that artistic style more kind of cohesive. And also Fusion Strike, what is it like? It's really bloated as well. I think it's like /264.
It's a huge set.
So and I feel like this is kind of more not investment. Oh wait, is this pure investment or just pure?
Hey,
Fusion Strike's a better investment.
Yeah, either way, you choose.
Fusion Strike's definitely better in terms of holding. Sorry, but in terms of just artistic style and what I like, I really rate Chilling Reign. Yeah.
I love it. All right, what's next? We got. All right, this is a good one. Battle styles or Scarlet and Violet base?
Scarlet and Violet base. 100%.
Oh, well, you didn't think about it, eh? You're just like
battle style. I mean, you've got Tyranitar. Oh, the Urshifus are cool. But you know what it is as well, though? Battle Styles it's kind of the first set that introduced all arts, but everyone's kind of just been like, hey, no good.
Yeah, everyone's on the like I don't know, this whole battle styles thing. This like everyone's trying to make battle styles happen. It's gonna go up, and then everyone's gonna like, oh wow, he told you so. Like
Yeah,
when battle styles is like,
yeah, exactly. Everyone's trying to make it happen, but it's going to happen because that's just how it
yeah,
works. But
yeah,
it didn't happen naturally. It just happened because of
yeah. I liked it when it was $90 a box, but yeah. All right, here we go. Evo Skies or Surging Sparks.
Uh, here we go. Here we go. This is the. Oh, okay. I think it's Evolving Skies. Yeah,
Yeah, it
I
gotta
think
be.
it is. Yeah, yeah. But I
Gotta
do
be.
think Surging Sparks, just because Evolving Skies is more iconic, and it's got really good art style. But Surging Sparks, I kind of really like Surging. Oh, I'm going with Evo Skies. I'm going with Evo Skies, but Surging Sparks is very, very close.
I like it. Guys, let us know in the chat what you guys are thinking. I see some people are popping up now. Snackbread's asking me why I'm against battle styles. I don't know. I just think there's better things you can spend your money on, guys. I do. Like, I mean, I seem to be getting in the minority here, but I don't know. I don't think streamers of the future are going to be that excited to rip battle styles, and you're going to have trouble offloading it. That's my take. I'm just not a huge fan of the set.
So you it seems like you know your audience very like it seems like these people all the people in your audience they come a lot on the streams.
They do, yeah. There's people that support a lot, and there's some new faces which I mean I see people's names and avatars pop up, and dude, sometimes I have like 3 people in here, like, and
Yeah, yeah.
so yeah, it's like and I'm really grateful to everybody that watches. So,
That's cool because I
yeah,
noticed that it seems like you know a lot of them, which is
I
awesome.
think it's cool, man. I mean, you've got your
Mhm.
discords and you're doing your rip and chips too, and you I mean you see the same people that leave comments too. Like you
100%.
mentioned
Yeah,
Dan,
yeah.
right? It's like
And then yeah, no, absolutely.
that's one of the cool things about like making content is just like you build this like community and you get to know people and yeah, it's pretty cool. I really like it. All right, Twilight Masquerade or Paldea Evolved.
Paldea Evolved.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
there
yeah,
we go.
yeah.
I
Paldea Evolved. I love Paldea
think you're
Evolved.
a Ninja fan. There we
Yeah,
go.
yeah, massive fan of it. One of my favorites is the Grusha, from Paldea Evolved.
Oh, the snow. Yeah,
Such a sick card. Yeah, no, I love Paldea Evolved. I think even though I do rate Twilight Masquerade, I don't think it touches PE.
interesting. I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I'm a
I
big
like
fan.
that. I like that take. All right, here we go. Japanese 151 or English 151.
Here we go. Objectively, Japanese 151 is better, right?
It is.
It is. It is. It is. It's got Master Ball Reverse Hollows. You guaranteed one every box. Yeah, it's Japanese. I mean, yeah, it is. It is. There's no way English can actually. No, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, the rapid fire got me. It is Japanese 151 by a country mile now, Rob. Now I'm actually getting out of my
You're in
shell.
it.
It
You're
is
in it.
Japanese 151 by as big as distance as you can make. So yeah, there you go.
You heard it here first, guys. Invest now.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we're getting close to the end. Prismatic Evolutions or English 151.
Prismatic Evolutions or English? Prismatic Evolutions.
Okay,
Yeah.
there we go. There we go. What advice do you have for new investors? Guys who are coming in, they see you for the first time, they see things going crazy on the thumbnails, buy it now. What do you think they should
Yeah.
be paying
I think
attention to?
some good to start out is definitely research the card. And buy also firstly, it depends on what you want. You have to also know everything that you buy is it going to be something for your investments or is it going to be something in your collection? So I'll buy Surging Sparks as a booster box to kind of keep as an investment, but I'll never kind of cross that and be like, guys, I'm going to rip it. I've already made that kind of decision in my mind before I buy it. So I think that would probably be the biggest advice is just make sure to, research your set as well, research the card, understand the pull rates. All these things matter a lot because I think anyone that's in this game for a while, you get a very good feeling of what card's already going to be pretty, like you're not going to get it right all the time, but I'd say on a general basis, I don't think of many people who, invest in Pokemon or invest in collectibles are surprised at Sumbreon. And, I know you make investing content, Rob. I don't know if you're that surprised at it.
No, it's
Yeah.
wacky, but it's like, okay, well, this is the world we're living in.
Yeah, so I think that could have kind of been, you kind of just expect some of those things. So, yeah, I think just doing research, and also I think it's just fun as well. I think a lot of people sometimes they'd be like, "Oh, Phil, you're making investing content," but I kind of make investing content, but I also kind of make I enjoy it so much.
Mm.
Pokemon TCG and collecting that. I don't know. I don't know. It's really, I don't know how as I've been making the channel, as much as I love investing, I kind of then also get sometimes like I don't want to live off, and I don't want to have this massive thing of sealed product always around me. I kind of be like, oh, there's just so much sealed. I don't know. And then I kind of get a little bit in my head and I'm like, oh, I just want my singles.
No, that's fair. That's totally fair. I can't get enough sealed. I like it. Just makes me
Yeah.
happy. I don't know
You're the
why.
sealed collector.
I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like, yeah, we'll get a little bit more. But even pop into the store. It's February the 16th in Australia, Len. No, I think it's the 15th right now.
15th. Yeah, in Australia that was 26th of January.
Len, he's not that far in the future. It's the 14th in the US. So guys, we haven't got too much longer yet left because I'm very conscious of my time and also of Phillips with his family as well. But I did want to talk a little bit. One of the things that I really liked about your channel when I first came across it, one of the videos you posted when I first saw it, I was like, wow, this is incredible. And it's an important video is your story video, where you talk very much openly about like some challenges that you face, some major challenges in your life, dealing with depression, dealing with body persona and things like that. And I don't think it's something that actually gets brought up enough. And I wanted to kind of highlight it on the call a little bit now as we talk. And would you mind chatting about that a little bit?
100%. No, absolutely. Always keen to talk about that kind of. There's nothing really to hide, and I'm very open about it. So, and I think it's important to be open about it because it helps other people who are in similar positions. Yeah.
Yeah. It's important too, because I mean, like everyone's going through something, and if you need help, you should be reaching out and getting that help. There's this, I think you mentioned this persona about guys that they can't talk about things or have these moments of vulnerability, which is definitely not the case.
No, 100%. Yeah. So how it kind of, if you did watch that video about my story, which is kind of it's like the channel, when you go on my channel, it's the first kind of video that you'll be introduced on. It was to do with, I kind of spoke about my journey with weight gain, and my skin condition that I had, which kind of has calmed down a lot now, but it was incredibly, incredibly bad. It kind of went all over my body. And it was for months. It wasn't something that was just going on for a while. It was going on. This kind of skin problem that I had was months. And problem is every time I kind of went out, or if anyone saw it, it was very noticeable. And you can see it in that video because I do showcase what my skin looked like. Pretty much just dry skin everywhere. And because all these things were compounding, especially because I had my daughter, me and my partner, my daughter was just born pretty much during this time as well. Very, very difficult time, and just continuously got harder and harder and harder. And then I kind of spiraled into this kind of thought process of being a person that wakes up and achieves my goals, and wakes up and can't wait for life, and wakes up and can't wait to, go out there in the world and achieve what I wanted. I started noticing that, hey, life isn't really working for me as much as I like it to. And I just kind of was in a very bad headspace, which led to a pretty bad depression. And it's something that I used to be like, oh, can I talk about that? Or is that something that I can be open with? But over time, I've kind of become very cool with the fact that we live in a very difficult time period right now, Rob. I think as much as we think, I think, how much we're on social media and all that, I think it can be quite challenging. So I definitely think that it did help getting that video out there, but it was just speaking about it with the people really helped as well.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And guys, if you're struggling with something, if you're watching, something's happening, like, get and talk to somebody. Like, there's support out there. Someone can help. Make sure that you don't do that.
Yeah, just and having a good kind of friendship group around you as well.
100%. So before we wrap up, if anyone has any questions in the chat, please, anything for Phil, you want to say hello, you want to tell him how much you love him, that's awesome. I do want to chat a little bit about DBZ because I know you like Dragon Ball Z. Like, this was a huge part of my childhood too. So,
so I can't get enough of it. Yeah.
Give me, all right. So what's your favorite saga? Let's start with that.
For Dragon Ball, so I just rewatched it. I rewatch it pretty much all the time, but my favorite saga would be between early Saiyan saga and Cell saga as well, and Namek saga. It would either between Namek and Saiyan saga.
Yeah, man. Like, Saiyan saga was like the OG, like the gateway to, like, what the am I watching right now? This is the best thing ever.
Yeah, I couldn't get enough of it. And the way Akira Toriyama would be able to piece things together that didn't, because if you watched Dragon Ball Z, before Dragon Ball Z it was Dragon Ball, and Goku had a tail, and it had no relevance at all. No one knew why he had a tail. But then in the Saiyan saga, he kind of just said, hey, I'm gonna make it that Goku's an
Yeah,
alien from a Saiyan race, and the way he knows how to do that with
yeah.
established concepts is, it's just insane. Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. And so for me, it was DBZ before Dragon Ball. Like I went back, but yeah, if you'd watched from Dragon Ball, you'd be like, oh wow, or you've been following the manga all the way through because it's just one manga, right? You'd be like, wow, like this is incredible, like this change. And yeah, I love it. Like for me, like in terms of pure atmosphere, you can't beat the Frieza saga, man. Like when or Namek saga, sorry, like and then you go into Frieza, like oh my
100%.
god, like just
Nah,
pure,
it
like,
goes on. Yeah, it's
Jason
so good.
Vegeta,
Yeah.
like
No, no. And
I
what was
love
that?
it. Who I said I'm just remembering Jason Vegeta. I don't know how many times I've watched those fights between those guys
Oh yeah, yeah.
in the hot tub on YouTube on the phone. Like I freaking love that. We got some fans of Cell Saga androids in here as well, saying
Yeah.
sagas. Who's your favorite character?
I'd probably be Gohan, I think. Yeah, I think it's,
Really?
yeah, yeah. I made a connection with him. Like, just because, when I was younger, Gohan used to annoy me because I'm like, oh, he's just being a sook. But then when you watch it like when you're older, you're kind of like, this kid went through some straight up trauma, man. Like his dad died at like when he was 4 years old. He has to go with Piccolo. He's
Yeah.
like sent away in this like to get trained by like a guy that killed his dad. And yeah, no, and his character development, the way, even how there's always something, you're watching Gohan from Saiyan Saga when he's this little kid with a tail, and everyone is just waiting to see what happens. And then Frieza Saga comes, Namek Saga comes, and nothing happens with Gohan. And then finally by Cell Saga, you get this climax where you're like, this is unreal. And he just, yeah.
Yeah. And then Gohan turns into Pokey. That's just how it goes. The hair is happening.
Crazy hair.
So, guys, I try and keep these to a tight hour to be respectful of everybody's time. I am very, very grateful that Philip was able to give up some time away from his family today to chat to everybody. Philip, where can everybody find you, man? Where can everybody find where you're at and what you're up to?
Yeah, for sure. I think on YouTube, it's just Phillips Collectibles, which if you just search on that, you can suss my Instagram, which is a dog's breakfast. It is. No, I gotta pump that up. Maybe if more people come to my Instagram to help me get that up. I'm trying to. I don't know. I haven't been promoting my Instagram, but I'm working on that. And also Discord as well, which is, if you go on my YouTube channel, you'll be able to see there. Pretty cool community that we've built there. Really good people as well. So yeah.
I love it, man. Thank you so much for joining. So, guys, please share this with your friends if you liked it, if you thought it was good. Rob's awesome. Philip's awesome. I will be live again on Tuesday with the Poke Office on Colin's channel. Then we will have, I believe, as long as Brian sends me a thumbnail image, which I'm sure he will, we should have Poke Annie, Opossum, and Go to Pulls on Wednesday. And Philip, I know this was kind of like a get to know you kind of thing. Like, would you be interested in coming back as part of a group sometime, my friend? Would you
100%. Yeah. Get me on. I'm definitely keen to jump on. And I just want to say also, Rob, thank you, because really, really cool to have a nice, genuine dude out in the hobby. And I think, your audience, as I've seen on live, they've just got such a big appreciation for you. So I think that's no surprise as well. So I'm definitely keen to, come on. And thanks for being so awesome. And I kind of feel like it was like I've already known you. So it was very easy to talk to you.
Cool,
Yeah.
eh? It's really cool. No, it means a lot, man. It really does. And look, we've got to grow this thing. I mean, I'm intending to make content for a long time. I'm sure you are too. So
100%.
yeah, we'll be doing this when we're 60, man.
No, absolutely. No, I'm keen, man. I'm keen.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Thank you to everybody in chat. Until next time, my friends, take it easy.